Good morning. Good morning. Today is Friday, June 1st. This is a meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. We meet Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The first Friday of the month, we are here in Van Nuys City Hall, and we have a full house. Nice to see all of you. We are still awaiting a quorum. We do expect Councilmember Labange and Mr. Wesson to arrive momentarily. Okay, Ms. Rosendahl, we will check on that. Thank you. And so for our first presentation, I'd ask Mr. Zine if he would take the seat, and then Mr. Cardenas will be our next presenter after that.
All righty. And we're going to go with Ms. Gruhl for the first presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zine. It is kind of with mixed feelings today that I present a proclamation to Abby Greenspan of my office, who is here. Abby came to me just 2 years ago, and even though she came from USC, it was okay that we had her on staff. I have a few of those, even though I'm a Bruin. But Abby was just a recent graduate and decided that she was interested in being a planning deputy. And I have to tell you that, we thought, well, she's going to be good. Dale Thrush will train her, and, she'll be able to help him out on a few things. Well, during this last 2 years, Abby has been an extraordinary planning deputy. She is someone who has been going out into the meetings. I have a tough district in a lot of issues, and if it's any indication, Abby sent out an email a week or so ago letting the community know that she was going to go off to graduate school or law school, and she got emails from some of our toughest constituents who are, and rightly so, demanding and advocates, saying how much Abby had meant to them and how wonderful she had been as a planning deputy. But to all of us in our office, she is much more than just a planning deputy. She has become a part of our family, and as you see, all my staff here came out from downtown to be here. Her mom is here. They're literally taking a plane as soon as a flight right after this meeting, and that's why we're presenting this to her first. But I wanted to read just a little bit of the proclamation that we wrote for her. Whereas Abby Greenspan joined Council District 2 team on May 31st of 2005, she has devoted countless hours, nights, and weekends to address planning issues in the San Fernando Valley. She spent her first day of work when she started listening patiently to constituents until 9:30 p.m. And she did ask me, is every day like this? And I was honest, and I said, yes, every day is like this till 9:30 p.m. But she also talks about her unflappable tolerance and steadiness with all constituents in the face of contentious issues, and often, I won't say that part that we put in here. This was very honest in this proclamation that we wrote. But she has had a lasting imprint and mark on the landscape of Los Angeles, and many of the things where she's fought for our constituents, stood up for them, has been really incredible. And so on behalf of not only the entire City Council, but we got the mayor, the controller, and the city attorney to thank you for being a wonderful staff member to me. And I know that she also is going to come back to Los Angeles at some point in time, and hopefully she will come back to work for me as she gains even more experience. So on behalf of all of us, on behalf of our staff, and many who couldn't be here today, Abby, thank you for all that you have done. You have been an incredible staff member. So if I could ask everyone to give her a great round of applause. Shy some days until, she gets in front of a planning commission.
I just want to thank the council member. This has been a wonderful experience. It's been a lot of growth. I've learned to prove and improve myself every day on the job, and it's been a wonderful experience. I couldn't ask for anything more. Wendy's been great, and I've been working with the brightest and hardworking staff in City Hall. So thank you.
Yeah, okay. I want to, where's your mom? Where's your mom? This is, as a mom now, you have to recognize the mothers. So this is Abby's mom, who's here from New York, right?
Maryland.
Maryland,
Yeah.
back east. So thank you for letting us have your daughter for a while, and please take care of her for us.
I
So-
will. I know she wants to come back.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Zine, and I think Mr. Cardenas is our next presenter.
Yes, he is.
So,
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Councilmember Tony Cardenas for our next presentation. I understand, Councilmember Cardenas, that your group is approaching the room.
It gives me great honor and pleasure to welcome a world-known, wonderful human being, Rigoberta Menchú Tum, to the chambers of the City of Los Angeles. I'd like to invite Councilmember Alarcón. I think Huizar is excused. The Latino members of the council, Garcetti, to please come and join me at the podium here. Okay. We have the pleasure and honor in the city of Los Angeles of welcoming and honoring Ms. Rigoberta Menchú Tum for participating in the 5th annual Feria del Libro, which will take place tomorrow all day in the city of Los Angeles and City Hall. And this is going to be a fair of leadership and advocacy for literacy in Los Angeles. The renowned Fair will be held on that day from 10 to 5 tomorrow in the south steps of City Hall and on Main Street. But more importantly, the Grand Marshal of tomorrow's event, the person that they're honoring tomorrow in our annual event, is Rigoberta Menchú Tum. Rigoberta Menchú Tum is a Quique Indian who was born in a poor Indian village in the Guatemala mountains and grew up in the Indian culture, only learning Spanish as an adult. Rigoberta chose to dedicate herself to political and social work for her people. Her struggle to improve the lives of all indigenous people earned her the admiration of the world and eventually the Nobel Peace Prize in 1992. In her autobiography, which has been translated in 22 languages, she describes the struggles of indigenous peoples and hardships of growing as a child in Guatemala. She received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1992, becoming the first indigenous and the youngest person ever to receive this distinction. Rigoberta Menchú was born in 1959 in the village of Chimel, Guatemala, a community continuing the millennium-old Maya Quiche culture. In her youth, she worked in fields and later in the city as a domestic employee. She lived in the midst of the injustice, misery, and discrimination suffered by indigenous peoples of Guatemala. Various members of her family were tortured and assassinated by the repressive armed forces. Persecuted, Rigoberta was exiled to Mexico in 1980. Self-educated, she has shown herself to be a natural leader of great intelligence. She became an active political worker in labor, campesino, and human rights groups, as well as in the defense and promotion of the rights and values of indigenous peoples everywhere. In 1983, her testimonial book, I, Rigoberta Menchú, an Indian woman in Guatemala, was published, followed by several of her texts and poems. Through her work, Rigoberta has received worldwide recognition and several honorary doctorates. In 1993, she was nominated by the United Nations as Goodwill Ambassador for the International Year of the Indigenous Peoples. At present, she is the promoter of the International Decade of Indigenous Peoples, mandated by the General Assembly of the United Nations, and was also appointed to be the personal advisor to the General Director of UNESCO. Concurrently, she presides over the Indigenous Initiative of Peace. In her social and political work, she has always borne in mind that the long-term objective of the struggle is peace. Today, Rigoberta Menchú stands out as a vivid symbol of peace and reconciliation across ethnic, cultural, and social dividing lines in her own country, on the American continent, and around the world. I'd like to thank my colleague, Jose Huizar, who couldn't be here today, for asking me to make this presentation in his stead. I think it's very important for us to understand the greatness and the presence of Rigoberta Menchú Tum. To me, she embodies everything that every human being wishes to be. She embodies everything that our parents, when they looked into our eyes when we were born, that all of our parents want us to be. She reminds me of people that have been my heroes in my lifetime: Cesar Chavez, Dr. Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi. These are individuals who proved that by giving of themselves and thinking of everyone else and thinking of themselves the least, they have been able to create greatness within their presence and to create an awareness beyond that most human beings could ever wish to achieve. To me, Rigoberta Menchú Tum is a human being like no other. She is a human being that you could actually look at and realize that she is unique, she is special, and she embodies that we all wish to embody, at least in a small way, in every day of our lives. Rigoberta Menchú Tum is a great individual, and we are honored to have her in our presence. And at this time, I'd like to give some of my other colleagues an opportunity to speak before we present her with her resolution and give her an opportunity to speak. Madam President, I'd like to ask that we suspend the time allowed for our guests to speak for Ms. Rigoberta Menchú on this special presentation. Thank you.
Yes,
Councilman Alarcón.
we will do that. Thank you, Mr. Alarcón.
Members and people in the audience, all too often we take for granted our freedom of speech and expression in this country. In fact, most recently, we've caused several hearings and major investigations whenever we perceive that somebody's rights might have been violated. It demonstrates the difference that we have in many ways from other countries where the freedom of thought and expression and speech are repressed. Rigoberta Menchú represents that fight for freedom of speech, that fight for freedom of expression, and that fight to express your civil rights in fighting for humanity and a more just world. But for our purposes, we are honored that she is the Grand Marshal for the Feria del Libro. The Feria del Libro represents an effort to more fully expand the opportunities for literacy amongst particularly the Latino population in Los Angeles, and it expresses our desire that the notion of an informed democracy is absolutely essential, and that we recognize that those who read books that are not necessarily in English language or English culture, that in fact it contributes to our democracy for people to understand themselves in their own manner, their own culture, in their own history, and that is a contribution to the United States. So we are truly honored to have the presence of this Nobel laureate who truly is fighting for peace. As she fights for peace in Guatemala, her message is resounding throughout the world, and I'm hopeful that by our expression of respect and honor for her today, we are also contributing to peace around the world. I don't think there's anything illegal about mentioning that she's a candidate for president in the country of Guatemala, but if there is, I won't mention it. But certainly, her candidacy will raise the level of debate in that country. It will also raise the stature of the civil liberties that every country must fight for and that this country truly represents.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alarcón.
Thank you. Once again, it's an honor of mine to be able to introduce this wonderful human being to to all of you and to give her an opportunity to say a few words. But once again, she is an individual who embodies humility. She's an individual who embodies strength. She's an individual who certainly exudes something that is relevant to compassion in everything that she does. And in addition to that, she has something that we all wish to aspire, and that is to have faith in nonviolence and faith that you can change the world by being the best you can be and not having to raise arms, and to be able to open up your arms and welcome both your enemy and welcome both your friend, to make sure that we have a better human being in ourselves and a better world for all of us. So once again, con mucho gusto, quiero introducir a todos ustedes a la señora Rigoberta Menchú Tum.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I need an interpreter, and I introduce you.
Puede hablar en español también.
Está bien. Gracias. En primer lugar, yo quisiera agradecer profundamente esta amistad, este aprecio mutuo, porque yo quiero mucho a la gente aquí en Los Ángeles. Quiero a los niños, los jóvenes, y quiero prometer a esta parte de la humanidad la lucha siempre por la solidaridad entre nuestros pueblos, la solidaridad por causas comunes, especialmente por la dignidad de la gente que lucha por la vida, que piensa en un mundo mejor, que trabaja por sus derechos y que lucha por hacer un futuro más digno para la humanidad en general. Gracias por ese reconocimiento, porque solo así podemos sacar esta humanidad que tiene muchísimos problemas, especialmente problemas también con la madre naturaleza, con la vida, con las culturas, con los pueblos. Creo que va a traducir Madeline.
So I want to thank you very deeply for your friendship, for this mutual esteem that has been expressed, because I want to say that I love Los Angeles, I love the children of Los Angeles, I love the youth, and I want to promise my solidarity to you, solidarity between our peoples, solidarity on common causes, solidarity in our struggle for dignity, for the dignity of life, for a better world. And I want to say that working for a better life for humanity is something that we have been working for a long time. And humanity has many problems. We have problems with Mother Nature. We have problems with life. We have problems in terms of our cultures and in terms of our relationships among peoples.
Los seres humanos nacemos con una misión, y esa misión de liderazgo que nos toca hacer las cosas mejores todos los días. Y estoy segura que la autoestima de nuestra juventud se basa en los ejemplos que nosotros dejamos. Somos pasajeros en este mundo, y este mundo nos pertenece siempre y cuando la cuidemos y siempre y cuando trabajemos por los mejores ejemplos. Y yo quiero decir a las mujeres que es muy importante que sigan luchando por sus derechos, que los niños sepan que necesitamos vivir de dos grandes fortunas, la fortuna espiritual y la fortuna material. Que ellos sepan que no es posible la vida si vivimos en un desequilibrio, y que podamos escribir más y más libros que tengan valores de la familia, valores de la comunidad. Y por eso estoy aquí el día de hoy, para participar en esa necesidad de que nuestros conocimientos también sean coherentes con nuestra vida y nuestra forma de vida.
And so I want to say that humans are born with a mission, and it is a mission of leadership to be better every day. The self-esteem of our children is based in large measure on the example that we live. We are temporary in this world, but the world is ours if we care for it and if we work to make a better example. I also want to say to the women here that it is important to continue struggling for your rights, and it is important to transmit to our children that we have two basic foundations for our lives. One is a spiritual and the other is a material, and we cannot have life unless we have that type of equilibrium. And so I am hoping that we will be publishing many, many books, many more books, books with values about families and culture. And so today I want to say that it is a joy to be participating here, and it is important that our knowledge be based on the value of life.
Bueno, yo vengo de una cultura milenaria, que es la cultura maya. Todos ustedes conocen la grandeza de esa cultura. Y esa cultura no está muerta. Especialmente el día de hoy es el nahual de la justicia. Es el nahual de los escribanos, de los jueces, de los secretarios, de las autoridades. Y es tan hermoso celebrar este día aquí en Los Ángeles. Yo deseo para toda la gente de aquí muchos éxitos en la vida, sobre todo a todos los compatriotas guatemaltecos, centroamericanos, latinoamericanos que aquí confluyen. Y pido a ustedes que sigan luchando por ellos, por sus derechos, por su dignidad, y que sigan adelante. Gracias por esta amistad. Espero que este día también quede escrito en una profunda amistad con los pueblos indígenas de Guatemala, con los guatemaltecos en general y con los centroamericanos. Que vivan las mujeres, que vivan los niños, que vivan los jóvenes y que vivan la amistad entre nuestros pueblos. Gracias.
I come from a culture that dates back for thousands of years. Is this on? Yeah. I come from a culture that dates back for thousands of years, from the Mayan culture. It is a culture of greatness. It is not a dead culture. Today on the Mayan calendar is the day of justice. It is a day of the clerks and the judges and the authorities. And it is beautiful to be able to celebrate it here in Los Angeles. And so I wish everyone great success in life. And I want people to continue working for and acknowledging the Guatemalans, the Central Americans, the Latin Americans that have come to this place as I do now. And I wish that you will fight for their rights and fight for their dignities and keep going ahead. And I want to thank you for your friendship, and I hope that we will continue to be writing in a positive way for the indigenous peoples of Guatemala, for all the people of Guatemala, and for all the people of Central America. So long live the women, long live the children, long live the youth, and long live the friendship among our peoples.
At this time, I'd like to ask a representative from Feria del Libro to come forward and say a few words on behalf of the organization and to also mention the sponsors. And we do apologize. That's what happens when you get somebody bigger than you. We spend most of our time talking about that wonderful human being, and then yet we only leave a little bit of time for you. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Gruhl and all the City Council. I come to you today for a very different occasion. The last time we met, we were talking about the governance issues of the Los Angeles Unified School District. Today I am here very proud as a representative of all of the organizations, the great city of Los Angeles and the great Los Angeles Unified School District, who have joined in partnership for the 5th year to promote the book fair, which we call La Feria del Libro, a family book fair. It is at the steps of City Hall. This is the 2nd year, and it is a rightful place for this feria, as we believe strongly that as city leaders, you must ensure the opportunity for all of its children, its youth, and its families to develop the highest literacy rates possible. We understand the connection between reading and books and a democratic society. And we promote the Feria del Libro because in many of your districts, we do not have bookstores. We do not have bookstores where children and their families can go buy books. We do not have enough libraries where they can go check out books. So we would like for you to join us in this advocacy for literacy to ensure that our future is there as a democratic society. That is what the book fair represents. And I want to thank you because you have, whether you can remember or not, you have allowed us to participate with a contribution from the city to waive the fees, and we ask that you continue to do it forever and ever. Amen. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you for allowing Rigoberta Menchú Tum to be here with you. We will be back next year with another author and to ask for more money and to ask for more support because we love you and we know that you love our children very much. Thank you so much.
By way of introduction, I'd like to introduce the students from Bert Corona School in Pacoima. We want to thank them for being here. Of course, Bert Corona was a huge civil rights advocate in the state of California, but mostly in Los Angeles. And they honor us here with the presence their teacher, Haiti Trujillo, tells me that she is preparing an entire month's lesson on leaders such as Rigoberta Menchú to educate the kids about what is important to believe in and fight for about the things that you hold most dear. And so we want to commend her for her leadership for her children. And we know that there are many, many Bert Coronas and Rigoberta Menchús in that audience right there.
Thank you, Councilman Alarcón, for recognizing our young kids in the room. Also, it's important for us to remember the Feria is being sponsored by the City of Los Angeles and also Telemundo, WAMU, Washington Mutual, La Opinión, Disney, Channel 4, Target, and many, many other wonderful sponsors who believe in the literacy of our children and of our community. So with that, it's time for us to give the resolution to our honored guest, Rigoberta Menchú Tum, and I will translate for her all of these whereases and arthaus. Esto lo que dice en total es que viva Rigoberta Menchú de parte de la ciudad de Los Ángeles.
Thank you, Mr. Cardenas, and to all of the sponsors. I know it was a great success last year. Look forward to Ed. I'll be there tomorrow morning after T-ball, but we'll be there with my son. We all know how important books are and being able to read and to reading to your child. And so this event is going to be another way in which to, yes.
Mrs. Gould, we brought 2 posters for each of our council officers here for all of your offices. One for your City Hall office and another for your out in the field office. Thank you very much. And we also have, yes, you're holding the poster.
I was going to say, maybe they can show the camera. We can show this beautiful poster, if you can come to me.
It shows Rigoberta with children reading. So again, we thank you. We want to thank all of our sponsors and the city and the Los Angeles Unified School District. Thank you very much. And thank you for the other recognition that we have for our sponsors. We don't have time to do all of that, but we thank you again.
Thank you very much. And for the students, and I think Channel 35 will now come up. This is the beautiful poster that they put together that celebrates tomorrow in the book fair. We want to remind everyone it is tomorrow at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Los Angeles City Hall, 1st and Main Street. And again, thank you to all of the sponsors I know that made this possible as well. Mr. Cardenas had our next presentation, but I think he is taking pictures. So are you ready, Mr. Zine? I'll acknowledge Mr. Zine for our next presentation.
All righty, thank you. I've got two wonderful schools. Obviously, these students have done extremely well at both of the schools in my district. And the first school we're going to recognize and honor is Taft High School. If I can get the Taft High School boys tennis to come forward. The boys tennis team, come on down. Come on forward, gentlemen. The Taft High School boys tennis, victorious in the championship match of the 2007 tennis playoffs for the Los Angeles section of the California Scholastic Federation, the CIF. They were the co-league champions of the West Valley League with a 9-1 record, completed their boys tennis city championship with a record of 15 wins and only 1 loss. This is the first tennis championship at Taft since 2001. The City of Los Angeles City Council hereby congratulates Taft High School boys tennis on their successful victory. And you, I understand, are the coach. Yes. Come on forward.
Oh, thanks.
For a couple words from the coach.
Oh, thanks a lot. I didn't expect this. By the way, it was the first championship since 1983. That was an invitational championship. But anyway, our guys, besides their talent, they won with heart. And we weren't expected to win it, and it was something that I won't forget, and they won't forget either. So thanks a lot for inviting us out today.
Thank you. Taft High School boys tennis. We're going to get close to a real quick picture before we do the next presentation. Come on, Coach. Come on in here, everybody. Gather around. How's that? You got it. Have fun. Get lower. Yeah. Down, baby, down. But not that far down. You got it?
You got me, Mr. Black?
Oh my God. I'm not. All right. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. What was that?
There you go, Coach. And also from Taft High School, the Taft High School boys track and field, come on down. They're not here.
They must be running from Taft to get here.
All right. Well, they're being acknowledged, but they're not here. What happened to them?
They're at the state.
They're at the state championship. All right.
So
Well, let's mention it anyway. Taft High School boys track and field, victorious in the championship meet of 2006-2007 boys track and field finals, Los Angeles section of the CIF. They league champions of the West Valley League in 2006 with a 5-0 record. Completed their boys track and field city championship with a record 15 wins and 5 losses in 2006 and a record 8 wins and only 1 loss in 2007. And we congratulate the Taft High School boys track and field team. And the next group, come down. It is the Taft High School girls volleyball team. Come on down, ladies. Taft High School girls volleyball team victorious in the championship match of the 2006 playoffs for the Los Angeles section of the CIF. This is the first ever girls volleyball city championship at Taft High School history. League champions of the West Valley League with an incredible 10-0 record, 10 wins, 0 losses. Completed the girls volleyball city championships even with a record 32 wins and 4 losses, and we congratulate the Taft High School girls volleyball team and the coach. Where's the coach? Come on up, coach. Come on down.
All right. I want to thank the City of Los Angeles for inviting us here. It is quite unexpected, and it's very nice for you guys to do it. These girls committed 3 years, maybe 4, just to bring a championship to Taft High School, and we wouldn't be here with these 14 girls. So once again, we'd like to thank all of you. Thank you.
All right. Grab it down for a picture now. Ladies, come on in close for a photo. Photo time with everybody there.
Thank you.
Coach, there you go. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And the final group from Taft High School girls basketball team. The basketball team was victorious in the championship game 2006-2007 playoffs for the Los Angeles section of the CIF. The first San Fernando Valley High School to win the Los Angeles City Section Major Division Girls Basketball Championship in 22 years. You didn't know that? And none of you were here 22 years ago anyway. They were the league champions of the West Valley League with a 10-0 record, 10 wins, 0 losses. Completed the girls basketball city championship season with a record 24 wins in a row and 3 losses. And the city council congratulates the Taft High School girls basketball team for bringing that title to Taft High School. And the coach? Coach?
I'd like to thank the council members and Councilman Zine. I had the pleasure a couple years ago flipping pancakes with him at our annual pancake breakfast. It's been a tremendous honor. The girls have put in a tremendous amount of time and effort to lead us to this first ever city championship. And on behalf of the school, as the athletic director, I would also like to accept the track and field certificate and say this is the first time in the history of LA Unified that any high school has won 4 varsity city championships in one school year, and a 5th in that our girls' junior varsity volleyball team also won. So 5 city championships never happened in LA Unified. So again, thank you so much for having us down here.
Our pleasure. Everybody smile now, ladies. Can we see you? Can we see you? I hope we want to see you. Who can't we see?
Thank you so very much. It's good seeing you.
Good seeing you. That's for the, here's for the boys track and field.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Quite. Oh, you're not done.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're still recognizing the West San Fernando Valley while we now turn from sports to academics. There's Taft High School, there's El Camino High. They both won national decathlons and obviously the athletic championships. And now we're going to bring forward the El Camino Real High School academic decathlon. El Camino High School. These students obviously did a lot of reading. And if we look at the newspaper articles, champs again. El Camino Real, 5th academic decathlon title. Finally, life's a beach for El Camino Real, because you guys get to go to Hawaii, and you went to Hawaii and laid on the beach for a week. Well, no, that's what everyone thought, but that's not what you did. The coach said, I was nervous most of the time. I felt our biggest threat was, and always has been, Wisconsin, but it was Illinois. That was from the coach of the team. El Camino earns decathlon victory. Homecoming decathlon winners get El Camino welcome. This is a real honor, again, to recognize, and last year was Taft High School. This year it's gone back and forth between Taft and El Camino. They won the Los Angeles Unified School District 2007 U.S. Academic Decathlon, giving the school its 5th national championship. This was a national championship victory once again for El Camino High. Let's hear it for El Camino High. I'm going to have the coach come up and introduce the members. The United States Academic Decathlon was held in Honolulu, Hawaii. They got to go to Hawaii, and everyone thought they were going to go there and enjoy the wonderful beaches in Hawaii. But what they did was study, and it was very successful. Approximately 350 student decathletes representing 39 teams from across the United States flexed their brain power in a 2-day contest of academic strength. They competed quizzes and speech, interviews, essay, art, economics, language, literature, mathematics, music, social science, and super quiz, the oral relay. El Camino had an 8-member team scoring 52,148 points out of 60,000 possible earned the LA Unified School District its 4th consecutive national title and 10th U.S. title since 1986. In addition, their triumphant victory, the team was named winner of the Super Quiz combined relay and written competition. El Camino competed with only 8 students after losing 1 member earlier in the school year. The team collected 34 individual prizes, the most of any 39 teams competing this year, and it's with great pride and once again that we recognize and honor the decathlon winners, the national decathlon winners from El Camino. And we're going to have the coach come forward for the introduction. Where are you, Coach? Come on. Oh, there you go. For the introduction of the students.
This is Jennifer Yu.
Jennifer, take a bow.
And Shayna Tao. Frank Soberanis.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You're on television. It's okay.
And Franklin Yu.
And any comments from you? You are the coach.
I'm really, really proud of these kids. They've worked really hard.
And I understand on the when they went to the state championship, there was another school that won the state championship, and then they came in and won the national championship. Is that correct?
There was another school that won the city championship.
The city championship, that was Taft.
No, that was Granada.
Granada, okay. And then they went on to win the national, which is the big prize, so they won the national championship.
We won the national.
That's what I'm saying, you, El Camino. I'm not trying to get you confused. Here's a resolution for the City of Los Angeles, El Camino Real High School, United States Academic Decathlon Championship 2007 champions. And what we will also do, in front of the school, we have these beautiful signs that are posted with the years won, and we also have signs that will go inside the school with the students' names and the coaches' names. So future generations will say, those are the folks. You can bring back your grandchildren someday and say, you know what? I was on the national decathlon team and we won. So congratulations to you all. And we have presentations for all of you. And we're going to do a group photo right now. And then, Madam President. I'm sorry. Oh, you have something for me? I hope.
Oh,
something.
okay.
Maybe a book or something? What's book? It's book reading, David. You read a lot, didn't you? You all read a lot. You're tired of reading, aren't you? Too much. Too much. Time to go to Hawaii and relax.
I wanted to present this plaque on behalf of El Camino's academic decathlon team to Councilman Zine for supporting us.
Thank you. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. United States Academic Decathlon National Finals. This was taken in Honolulu, Hawaii. Well, maybe we'll all get to go there, huh? Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zine.
Just one photo
Sure.
and then we'll be complete.
They can hold their shirts.
Okay, yeah, let's.
Okay. So after those photos are taken, we'll acknowledge Mr. Cardenas for our next presentation.
Can we take off your stickers?
Yeah, no, take your He's going to cover stick. Oh, you know what? We're going to do the photo on the side.
I'll steal my notes.
I'm not going to steal your notes.
Very much.
Okay. We're clearing the stage. Madam President, the stage is now open.
Thank you so much. We'll acknowledge Mr. Cardenas for our next presentation.
Okay. Since Dennis started the theme on academics and school children, I'd like all of the girls to come forward from the Van Nuys volleyball team. We're recognizing these young ladies because they are the all-academic volleyball team that has been selected by the Los Angeles Volleyball Coaches Association. The girls are in the 12th grade. There are 11 of them. Are all of you here? No, not all of them. See, they're all studying. They're more into academics. The record at the end of the year was 17-6 overall. They also went to the city quarterfinals. And also their coach, Bob Grella, is here to say a few words about how wonderful his team is and what a pleasure it is to be their coach.
Thank you very much. What I'd like to say is that we had 11 members on the team, but we only had 4 seniors. And all 3 of the girls that are here today and one other girl that couldn't make it this morning. Of our 4 seniors, All 4 seniors are part of the City Scholar Athlete recognition, which means their career GPA at Van Nuys High School is 3.6 or higher. 3 of our girls had 4.0s or better. And that's every one of our seniors on the volleyball team had 3.6 or better GPAs. So they're not only outstanding athletes that did well in the city, but they did very well in the classroom. And we'd like to thank Mr. Cardenas for this presentation this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's important for us to recognize the 4 seniors. I'll tell you a little bit about their GPAs to embarrass all of us council members, because when we were in school, there was no such thing as a 4-point plus. We couldn't even get 4.2s or what have you. But here we go. Nagin Shahande. I can't even say her name, much less the GPA. GPA is 4.2, and she'll be attending UCLA in the fall. Dasha Pesharova. There's no B in here. Pesharova. Okay. It's spelled wrong. It's not my fault. GPA 4.1. And oh my God. And she'll be attending USC in the fall. It's okay. They allow transfers. Don't worry. No. Congratulations. Megan McGrath with a GPA of 4.1, and she'll be attending UCLA in the fall. You're not here? Okay. So you're Lisette? Okay. The most special of all, my favorite, is Lisette Castañeda with a GPA of 3.6. That's more like me. But more importantly, she is attending the best university in the world, University of California at Santa Barbara in the fall. Congratulations to you, young ladies. And we have some resolutions for every single one of you. Just to show who they beat, they beat Grant High School, Poly High School, North Hollywood High School, Canoga Park High School, and Verdugo Hills High School. Those are the other high schools that are in their division. So congratulations to Van Nuys High School and the women's volleyball team. And once again, congratulations on being role models. I think today ought to be the Day of the Woman, as we're recognizing so many outstanding young women and women from around the world here in the city of Los Angeles. Congratulations for representing us here in Van Nuys, and congratulations for making us so very proud.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Cardenas. Colleagues, we are one short of a quorum. Ms. Hahn is on her way. She was excused. We were unaware of Mr. Labange's absence today, so we anticipated just having a bare quorum. If I can ask your indulgence, we do anticipate her within the next 5 to 10 minutes. We have several people who are here for part of those. If we could, we will take a slight break for Ms. Hahn to arrive. Thank you. Some of my colleagues have suggested if any of you would like to stand and speak of my colleagues. The city attorney has advised us one other option, which is, although we don't have a quorum, we could take public comment, and that if the individual who is here for public comment is fine doing that without the full quorum. So I will ask some of the people who are here for public comment. Yes, Dion.
Yeah, and just to elaborate, once we do get a quorum, council will still have to have another general public comment period also.
So you'll accept. Okay. Thank you. Then Candido. Okay. Susan Rocha. Susan Rocha was the first. Susan, would you like to speak before we have a quorum? Ms. Rocha? Ms. Rocha.
I guess I might as well, because my dictator, Reyes, is not here today, and he gets to be dictator over the quality of life that I have, and this is really a communist state. If the government forces me to hear church organ music all day, or ding-dong from the church bullhorns that blast from on top of the church all day long, then this is communist, or or maybe I'm living in Panama. Yeah, why should you guys have the authority to dictate what kind of music I listen to? If I have to have ding dong like a doorbell in my house, if I have to hear ding dong like the clock's going off, what right does the government have to intrude on my life and force me to hear something that I don't want to hear? And I don't have a right, I can't turn it on and off. But yet you guys, because nobody wants to step on Ed Reyes' toes because he doesn't want to do anything about it, you guys are also representing the government that forces me to hear ding dong all day. And I don't want to hear it anymore. But that's not right. That's not right that you guys get to choose what time I get up in the morning, what time the bells finish at night, what kind of church organ music I have to hear, God Bless America, or whatever other choices that they pick for me. What kind of fairness is this? I'm asking you to change the noise law, put decibel limits so that it's not overly loud, or hours of operation, or tell Divine Savior Church to knock it off. Because I don't have a choice, and you guys are forcing it on me. That's not fair. It's not fair. Either this guy gets to dictate my life, which is what he gets to do.
Thank you.
He's a dictator, and he gets...
Thank you. Your 2 minutes is up, ma'am. Rick Nightingale, would you like to speak now? Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Rick Nightingale. I think it's kind of bad that you come here once a month and you can't even make a forum, though. I'll may say that right up front. That I think you should be here at least once a week on every Friday, because it took... Look, when we first start to talk, and it's already 11 o'clock. The main thing why I'm here is about the housing department that you passed quite a while ago, the ordinance, that our family owns an apartment building. And they say that they mail out these notices for these inspections, and we don't get them. And now we're on an $800 penalty because we didn't get the notifications to turn around and make the corrections that were barely anything on it, and now we're trying to fight to where we can turn around and get these corrections taken care of. In fact, I'm going to a meeting today. I'm kind of late to go down to the housing department to talk to Mr. Duran, because your inspections come out and we don't know about them. They don't notify us. They paste it on the building. We had an eviction going on for the person. They might have taken it down. I have no idea what happened. Then you can turn around and add a 250% surcharge. That is dictatorship. That you can turn around and pass on that kind of an interest that a normal person can't charge more than 12% on his money. And you can put 250% on a fee, and then they say, well, how can? And then you call around to find out how you can get it fixed, and nobody knows the answer. I have 15 different heads of the department that don't tell you nothing because they don't know nothing. And they just keep putting you from person to person to person, and you call in the morning, nobody answers the phone, nobody returns the phone calls. I spend from 8 o'clock till 9:30, and then they're gone. And they don't return the phone calls when we do get a hold of them. So we sit on the phone, and we keep hitting their phone number and hitting redial before it goes to an answer machine, and then you might get somebody. So I appreciate you take care of some, but this 250% on the money is a little outrageous. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miriam Fogler.
Yes, good morning. I have a problem when I come here on Wednesdays with one of the General Services security guard. He keeps bothering me about that I can't have my water bottle here. When I see on the other side here that the council people can have water here and drinks and eat. So what applies to has to be for everybody or none at all. He's telling me I have to go out. Can't hardly walk on my feet. I have a hard time. So I would like to have something, concrete in writing that somebody is going to, make sure that this General Service security guard, sits here where the city attorney's sitting, to please let me have my water here and not bother me, because everybody else drinks water and eat here. So I don't want to be the only being singled out here. Everybody or none at all. We apply to all the rules the same thing like noise, same thing like building. What applies to the public applies to you. So what you pass against everybody else is going to affect you. So I just don't want you want to live under a system similar to the rest of the world. You'd be very happy we live in the United States of America. Here we're having trouble with the Venezuelan shutting down a television station for having a demonstration, and they were quelling their march. And here, our police officers should be supported. We're doing the opposite here. So they should go back to Venezuela. If these people complain about how bad it is here, they should go back to Venezuela. So anyway, I didn't get to speak on some matters 11, 12, 13, 14 on Wednesday because they just let another gentleman come up to speak on 14. I really like to say a couple of good things. I support the Boys and Girls Club, and I like the things that you're doing here with the establishment of San Pedro Historic Waterfront, and then.
Thank you. If I could ask you to conclude.
Okay, I just want to say that number 14 is the only thing I don't like about it. I support the bill. It's SB 904, except one thing. It excludes restaurants, delis, and grocery stores from using biodegradable products. Okay?
Thank you, Madam. I appreciate it. So, thank you. Donna Perriman. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
I'm Donna Perriman, a broken-hearted Garcetti fan. I like to say that sitting up, my heart is broken because Mr. Garcetti couldn't make it. I took off of work just to see him at Atchin, but I'm glad you're here, Madam President. Anyway, let's talk about your good friend, the CRA, and Big Development, who fund your re-election campaigns. You don't really care about the average voter and average homeowner. If you had your way, you would go through the entire agenda without input from the community, though you may think we're slightly amusing. Ho, ho, here comes Zuma Dog. But not amusing enough to really hear what we say or let our views be a factor in your voting. Close the roll, tabulate the vote, 14 ayes, and let this go forthwith. And you give a sweetheart deal time order. Why do you let the CRA have such control over you? You automatically approve all CRA projects, occasionally asking questions so it looks like you're thinking and questioning their policies. Proposal to really automatically approve all CRA projects. You should give that money over there to the city employees, like our sanitation workers, our police, firefighters, and pay our teachers like professionals. Anyway, I want to say that the CRA promises jobs galore, but they don't give any permanent, good-paying jobs with real benefits. They want to get rich off the sweat of our poorest people who work real hard. Yeah, work. Funny word, huh, Councilman? They get low pay and then the revolving door. Don't be fooled. We don't need the CRA. You guys have controlled the CRA before, and you can do that again. And once we didn't even have them. So, as I said, let that money go to the city employees, because a happy city employees means a happy city, and vice versa. And also, remember all the good things our police department do, and praise them too, and not only just correct them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Perriman. Again, we do not have a quorum, so I appreciate those of you who like to speak today. Candido. We do anticipate Ms. Hahn momentarily.
Maurice Maris. Thank you, Madam President, council members. Again, I want to thank the entire council for being here in the great San Fernando Valley. Everybody saw the paper. 30% drop in gang slayings. Now, you should take credit for that. The mayor should take credit for that. But let's give credit where credit is due. You know those officers that walk our streets, that are out there each and every day trying to protect us? Those are the same officers that were down in MacArthur Park. Different situation. None of us would like to have bottles and rocks and sticks thrown at us, but they are doing their job. So again, welcome to the Valley, but let's give credit. I mean, to be a police officer today is a very difficult situation, and it's easy to beat up on somebody. You have an opportunity. if we bring forth all the information, if we really dig for the truth. I know Councilman Weiss had asked that this coming week that they bring forth the people that were in charge of that event, Carter and I believe Egan and I forget what the other, Gray. If they come forth and they get to give their side, I believe you have an opportunity to finally change things in the city of Los Angeles. And once we're done there improving the situation, the department there, we can go to Department of Water and Power and take care of the issues there. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Candido. Ms. Brewer, do you wish to speak at this time? Sharon Brewer?
Fan club. Hi, Sharon Brewer. This is Public Safety Issues, Lake Balboa and CD6. I'm glad to see the councilman at his seat. I have been coming before City Council telling you about the ongoing safety issues regarding illegally parked cars, especially the ones parked on the bike path. These cars are parked inside white posts that were put up to keep the cars out. On an average, there are 16 to 20 cars parked inside these markers. Most of these cars have their wheels on the bike path. This is a real safety issue for the children and adults using the bike path. I told you before that I have a picture of a car almost completely parked on the bike path. When is CD6 going to do something about the illegally parked cars at Lake Balboa? We need the cooperation of the Park Rangers, Office of Public Safety, and Department of Transportation to work together, ticket and tow, to stop the illegally parked cars. Ticketing the cars will generate funds for the city and hopefully stop the cars from parking illegally. Until the safety issues at Lake Balboa are dealt with, there needs to be a designated peace officer at Lake Balboa on the weekends until these issues with the cars are taken care of. CD6, are you going to wait until a child gets seriously hurt and the family files a lawsuit before your office does something about these ongoing safety issues? Recreation and Parks, I see two people from Rec and Parks here now, needs to put up proper posts immediately to stop the cars from parking on the bike path. It's really getting bad over there, and the Office of Public Safety, they need help. There is nobody there on a constant basis to take care of these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brewer. Daniel Geis, would you wish to speak? Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I wanted to bring your attention to an article from yesterday's LA Daily News. I handed a copy of it to Mr. Alarcon. It says, "Dog menaced kids at school and nobody came from Animal Services. Ed Boakes is baffled." This is from yesterday's LA Daily News. Councilmember Gruel's, this is in Councilmember Gruel's district. 900 school children waited for 90 minutes for Ed Boakes to respond to a Rottweiler on campus, and the school principal was held on hold, from 7:55 in the morning to 9:05, at which point the principal had to call the police. So 900 school children in Councilmember Gruel's district at the Kester Elementary School were menaced by a Rottweiler, and nobody from Animal Services came. And I'm going to quote from the article, "The kids were running and screaming, and they were scared." And this is a public safety issue. It was in the Daily News, and 900 school children don't have a bone to pick with Animal Services, but you should. You should. I'm also concerned that next week Mr. Boakes has a speaking engagement at a law firm called Manat, Phelps & Phillips in West LA, which has many partners who are registered lobbyists with the City of Los Angeles. But Mr. Boakes failed to advise all of the Animal Services commissioners about his speaking engagement that is sponsored by this law firm, and I'm really concerned about what's going on there. You might want to know that Mr. Boakes is also avoiding an interview with a local TV news station, and I've asked the reporter at the local TV news station to come to each member of the City Council and find out why he can't get information on why, for example, the brand new East Valley shelter is crowded, overcrowded. It opened last week and it's already at capacity. So we don't have spay-neuter clinics open. We don't have someone to respond to 900 school children in this area. In this area, 900 school children had to face a menacing Rottweiler, as evidenced in yesterday's Daily News. And Mr. Boakes is having events at the law firms of lobbyists and not telling the commissioners.
Thank you very much.
We've got a big problem ahead, folks. We've got a big problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Daniel Weissman.
Well, if I was in shul, I could keep my hat on. Thank you very much. As you may have noticed, maybe you didn't notice, I just took some pictures because I've come before this group frequently on the issue of public comment. And I'm going to speak as a physician now because I think there's an eye disorder going on. There's a lack of eye contact. There's a lack of eye recognition of the people here. And I'm looking around at the various council members to see if there is some eye contact between them and me. I live 2 blocks away from that animal shelter, and I'm concerned about its capacity. The nice thing about it, by the way, is that they have a 24-hour ability to receive animals that are lost or strayed. Now, I'm going to take my hat off because I'm going to put a different hat on, and that's the hat of the Your Neighborhood Council people. I want to bring to your attention, in the time allowed to me, an issue that came up. Huh? It's right here. I'm taking it off because I'm wearing a different hat. Oh, my other hat? I'll put this one back on again. At any rate, oh, thank you very much. All right, gotta be in character, right? Dennis has already accused me of being out of character as a physician. I've already discussed eye disease, so what the heck? I'm back in character, folks. Within the past week, there's been an issue in a neighborhood council, Glassell Park, in which somebody wanted to take pictures and was asked not to do so by the neighborhood council members. That, of course, violates the principles of the Brown Act. But the issue was that they may have been disruptive in their process. The issues of public comments at all levels, at the level of this organization, at the level of our neighborhood councils, is one of extreme importance that I think we need to really address and change. We come to you to talk about something that we think is important. I have yet to see Mr. Weiss's eyes. I'm going to wait a moment and see if they come up off the table. Mr. Weiss, would you care to say hello?
Thank you, Mr. Weiss.
Would you care to acknowledge with all of your 15 colleagues that when we come here for real important reasons?
Thank you very much.
I thank you for hearing me.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
hope you
Weissman.
can do something.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to go on to, sorry, Mr. Weissman, we've gone over the 2 minutes. We are going down to our downtown. Downtown, we have a speaker at downtown. Mr. Corrion?
Yeah, my name is Michael Carrion, and I was here the other day and we're talking about the Chief Bratton issue. Again, I have a problem with the police department in my community. So I went to the police chief. I made an appointment with him. He's changed that appointment 3 times. So this is the incompetence of Captain Cho or Captain Chi or Captain Chai. When there's problems in the community and you got corruption in your police department, I would think that the person in charge would be concerned. But like Chief Bratton stated, there's incompetence in the whole police department. Most of the people he has in charge are out to lunch, physically and mentally. They're not there. We call and make appointments. Oh, yes, we want to hear. Oh, yes, we want to see. Oh, yes, we want to talk to you. Oh, yes, we're concerned. Then they change it. Oh, I'm too busy today. Oh, I'm too busy next week. Oh, I'm too busy next month. Well, the illegal activities of the Los Angeles Police Department continue. How's he ever going to find out what's going on and where the corruption is if he continues to cancel these appointments? I brought it to his staff's attention. They're aware of it. They refuse to correct the problems. I call that incompetent. How he got the position is just like the people sitting in the front office over there in Van Nuys. They don't get calls back. That's just the city's way. You know, there's double standards in this city, and if you sit on this horseshoe, you're aware of it. You guys eat, you guys drink, you guys do everything, and then the public can't do nothing. Let's leave the rules equally across the board, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Corrion. Colleagues, that's our last public speaker. Supposedly Ms. Hahn is moments away, seconds away. We will check on her time availability that she'll be here, and then we'll make a decision on whether we need to adjourn. Yes,
Madam
Mr. Cardenas.
President, is it appropriate for me to mention some things for the good of the order?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think if we can use this time, if you had announcements that you were going to make today, we can use that as well.
I just wanted to remind our colleagues that in the legislature, their budget process, the mayor just signed the budget for the city of Los Angeles yesterday, but the budget process for the state of California will culminate, if on time, on the 1st of July. And right now, the most, shall I say, rigorous activity around the budget is occurring this month in June. And so please, for those of you who have projects in your district, or if you have transportation issues, environmental issues, parks you'd like to get funded or what have you, please contact your local legislators or any contacts you have up there in the legislature and work with them to try to make sure that we get our fair share of funds from the state of California. It's very important for people to understand that much like our budget process, changes can be made at any one of the committee meetings or hearings of the budget. And it's important for us to understand up until the last minute we can get changes. And especially when it comes to matters that may involve, be it $100,000 or $200,000 or things of that nature, those are very, I'm not saying automatic, but you can actually work on those types of matters up until the last minute and even on larger matters as well. But in order to gain momentum, I think it's important for every single one of us 15 council members to focus on the issues that are facing our community, think about the kinds of things that we would like our state legislature to fund, and the funding is there. Even though they say that the budget is tight, it's my understanding, I think the budget is, I have in my head $120 billion or 140. I think it's 140. Yeah, the budget is $140 billion. 10 or 20 billion, give or take. But just to give an example of, for us to be mindful of when the legislature says or when they say out of the governor's office that the budget's tight, just 7 years ago in the budget, when I was the budget chairman, we had just crossed the $100 billion mark. So roll the clock forward 7 years later, we have another $40 billion to work with in the state of California. So please do not fall prey to the idea that there isn't room for dialogue, there isn't room for us to make our case about the issues that are facing our community and the budget needs that we have. So please keep trying hard, keep working hard, and take this opportunity to work with your legislators and the governor's office to get our matters in the budget. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cardenas. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Madam President, I'm going to help you out a lot here because there's a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff happening in your district. Thank you.
A lot of stuff tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you, colleagues, for all your patience.
First of all, at 10 a.m. tomorrow, we will be starting the 24-hour Walk for Life, Relay for Life at Birmingham High School. It's a relay walk to raise money for cancer. Last year, the American Cancer Society ran the program at Birmingham High School, raised $79,000 for cancer research. My office took control of the project this year. We sponsored the project. We've already raised $189,000, and the walk hadn't even started yet. So we're really proud of this. We've done some good stuff. Anyone wants to come out, Birmingham High School, it starts at 10 a.m., goes through 10 a.m. Sunday. You can come out anytime, 24 hours, walk anytime you want, walk for 5 minutes, walk for 5 hours. We don't care. Come out and support the Relay for Life. Item number 2, at 11:30, beginning at Pettit Park in Granada Hills, is the Traffic Safety Fair, which is Ms. Gruhl is very familiar with, where we give out child safety seats and information about traffic safety. It's run all day by our Valley Traffic Bureau, and anyone who wants to come out and participate, there's a lot of booths there, a lot of information. We'd love to have you. Beginning actually this afternoon at noon, it's going on now through Sunday night, is the Salute to Recreation. Some 80,000 people will come out to Northridge Park tomorrow, tonight, through Sunday to celebrate our recreation and parks here in the San Fernando Valley. They'll be giving a lot of awards to people who have done great volunteer work to make our parks better places to go with your families and participate. There are hundreds of booths there, rides for the children, food booths, dancing, cultural activities that goes on. It is a wonderful event, and you'll get a chance to take a look at the almost finished Northridge Aquatic Center, which is just about a month away, and we're very proud of that. Following on that, for those that want to go on to Dodger Stadium, we have 2 San Fernando Valley schools playing for the city championship in baseball. Chatsworth High School is going up against Cleveland High School. One in my district, one across the street in Mr. Zines, but services my district. So I can tell you right now, the West San Fernando Valley will have the city championship one way or the other. So that's going on also. So there's a lot going on out in the 12th district. There's a lot going on in the San Fernando Valley, and for those of you who want to get out and support our schools, certainly we can go out to Dodger Stadium and for a few bucks watch the city championship of baseball for high school. Chatsworth High School, which won the national championship 2 times over the last 4 years, and this is our 4th trip to the city championship in 5 years. So we're very proud of them. And again, one way or the other, it's going to be in the West San Fernando Valley, the champions. So, and Miss Gruel, Kennedy just missed. We thought it was going to be Kennedy versus Chatsworth, but they just missed. But Cleveland's in. So. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you very much. We will continue these at the end of the meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Gruel, Hahn, Weezer, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Westenzine, Garcetti, 10 members present and a quorum. Madam President.
Wonderful. Thank you. If you could go through the first items, please.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Rosendahl moves. Mr. Smith seconds.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Those will be approved.
Before beginning the regular agenda, there has been a request to continue item 12 to June 13th.
That will be continued to June 13th.
There's also been a request to continue item 18 to June 15th.
That will be continued to June 15th.
On the regular agenda, items 1 through 9 are street lighting district items. Notice for public hearing. Recommendation for council action is to continue the hearings and ordinances to June 22nd.
Those will be continued to June 22nd.
Item 10 is a street vacation item in Council District 12. Notice for public hearing. Council should instruct the city engineer to proceed.
Thank you. That will be the order. Should we open the roll on that item number 10, Mr.? Yes, Mr. Smith.
I was going to ask if we could have a contingent. I understand there's still some issues not resolved, so if we can have a 30-day on that, appreciate it.
Okay, we'll continue item 10 for 30 days.
And that would be to July 3rd.
Thank you. Next items.
Items 11 through 19, with the exception of 18 that was continued, are items for which public hearings have been held.
Yes, do we have any specials?
Number 19.
Number 19, Mr. Rosendahl. Mr. Parks?
Number 14.
14. Mr. Zine? No? Okay. Any other specials? Yes, in this group. If not, Madam Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
That item's been approved.
Items 20 through 36 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration. On item 29, the city clerk has submitted the resolution certifying the results of the May 15th general municipal election.
Mr. Parks, any specials?
I'd just like to continue 30-0 till next Tuesday.
Sorry, continue 30?
30-0.
30-0 will be continued.
No.
To next Tuesday. Any other specials, colleagues? 36. Okay. Any other specials? If not, Madam Clerk, please open the roll on the remaining items, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Those items have been approved. I apologize. I think there is a card. A public hearing's not been held on item number 20.
Actually, I believe the cards were removed on item 20 and moved to item 30.
Okay. So then 30 should be called special?
Yeah, actually, yes, Madam President.
So then we need to reconsider that
Except
item?
for 30-0 that was continued to Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll reconsider that item. Madam Clerk, open the roll on reconsideration, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Okay, thank you. So except for O, which will be continued next Tuesday. Next items, Mr. Clerk.
Madam President, that would take care of the items on the regular agenda. Do you wish to recess this meeting and go into the special?
Please.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Gruel, Hahn, Weezer, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Westenzine, Garcetti, 10 members present and a quorum. Madam President.
Thank you. First order.
On item 37, the mayor did sign the budget yesterday, and that was received by the city clerk's office. Therefore, no action is required.
Okay.
Item 38 is an item for which public hearing has been held.
That no one wishes to call it special. Madam Clerk, open the roll on item 38, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
That item's been approved. Next items.
Items 39 and 40 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration. On item 40, the agenda inadvertently left off the first moving clause, which was requesting the council to oppose the FCC's report and order and further notice of proposed rulemaking FCC 06-180. Council would be adopting the original resolution.
We do have cards on that item, and no public hearing's been held, correct? public hearing?
This is actually a public hearing not been held.
Okay, so that item will also be called special. Any other items? Yes, Ms.
On 39, forthwith, please.
Forthwith on 39. I think there was also a request on 29 and 35 to go forthwith. I see that noted.
Madam President, we do need to vote
back
on
to
item
that.
39.
Okay. That item 39 is now before us. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
That will go forthwith. We'll adjourn, or we'll continue that to the regular agenda, item 40.
And that would take you back to the items called special.
Great.
And that
And I would
be,
like to note 29 and 35 to go forthwith. So first item, Mr. Clerk.
Item 14 by Councilmember Parks.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just like to make an amending motion on the CLA report that recommends support of this new legislation dealing with smoking in a vehicle, and ask that we amend that to include enhancement as a penalty for those passengers that are covered under Vehicle Code Section 27360, which are a whole chapter of listings for those passengers that are obligated to be restricted by a car seat, and so that we can add that as just a friendly amendment.
Mr. Smith.
The language for that would be to seek amendment. And with that, I'll accept that as a friendly amendment and ask go forward.
We do, although the public hearing has been held, since you've been patient today, Ms. Perriman, would you like to speak on this item?
Yes, I won't speak long, but I just wanted to say that, again, this is another infraction on only smokers' rights. They're probably not even really looking to see people being distracted and driving wrong, like with, bad people people who use the cell phone incorrectly, and they drink, and now they're making a big deal about smoking in front of a minor, and the person could even be 16. And you need to get after bigger matters that matter more, like crimes and gangs, and not just go after smokers. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please open the roll on that item, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
That item's been approved. Next item.
Item 19, called special by Councilmember Rosendahl.
Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you, Madam President. Could we ask the CLA to come up and Mr. Cedillo's deputy as well? Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please share with us what this is for the public to understand?
Yes, sir. Meg Barkley with the CLA's office. Before you is a report recommending support of the resolution Garcetti-Perry to support Senate Bill 2 introduced by Senator Cedillo, which would require that jurisdictions zone emergency shelter by right such that the homeless population in each jurisdiction could be accommodated should the shelters be developed on those sites. The City of LA is currently the only city in the County of Los Angeles that does allow for emergency shelter by right in certain zones.
Mm-hmm. Could we ask the Senator's deputy to introduce himself and explain what this legislation is from your perspective?
Well, good morning. My name is Arturo Chavez. I'm the District Director for Senator Gil Cedillo's office. This bill would basically do the following. It would be including the housing element that all cities have to submit to the state, would have to submit in their housing element plan, zoning for emergency shelters and special needs facilities. That you currently do this on a regular basis with affordable housing, low and moderate income housing, and everything else. This would then allow each city to zone in their respective cities a zone that would allow the building of residential emergency shelters and special needs facilities. The City of Los Angeles, as well as the City of Santa Monica, already does this. They already comply with this. So it is something that we're trying to, we call this the fair share zoning, since many of the other cities and surrounding communities do not do this and do not comply with helping their homeless population. So as we know, the City of Los Angeles has the brunt runs the burden of this, and so we want the state to take care of homeless folks within their own neighborhoods and communities and cities.
When we look at LA County, which is 88 cities, of which we're the biggest, of course, and we look at Santa Monica, a smaller city, we look at two cities that truly have engaged in the issue of homelessness. Santa Monica, for a city of its size, has done a remarkable job in dealing with homelessness. The city of Los Angeles is working on it. We find the ambulance, the cabs will drop off some homeless person from somewhere else, from a hospital. We know some communities just totally say forget it, and they kick them out, and they end up in our city. In my particular case with Venice and other areas, have found an increase, an uptick in homelessness as the downtown gentrification strategy and all of the issues of Safe Cities Initiative have brought more homeless into my area. What teeth is there in this to make these cities take their fair share of the responsibility of dealing with an issue that is everybody's issue?
Well, currently there's two things. One is that since the housing element has to be submitted to the housing HCD, Housing Community Development for the state of California, if you're not compliant, they will not approve the plan. If the plan is not approved, the extreme position would be that all building permits could be ceased in the city. So that means no one could build in the city until such time as you comply with the housing element that's submitted and approved by HCD from the state. In addition, if a emergency shelter or special needs facility would not be able to build after been zoned by an approved plan by HCD, then they would in turn be able to sue the city under the anti-NIMBY clause that's included in this bill. Those are the two areas where you can have little teeth.
So the anti-NIMBY clause means that you can't say, not in my backyard anymore, it's somebody else's problem, and push it off.
Yes, that's true. It's very clear, though, that you have to understand that this is after an individual city would zone the areas. So it doesn't mean, where a lot of people have confusion here, is that it doesn't mean that you can provide or build anywhere. You have to build in the approved zoned area that is submitted by the city to the HCD and the state of California.
But how can you, a city says, how do you know how many homeless they have in their city? I mean, they might say, we have no homeless in our city to begin with. I'm talking about the smaller cities within LA County. How do we judge that and say, hey, you do have homeless and you must do this? I mean, how do you deal with that?
The bill addresses that in two things. The City of Los Angeles does that through LAWSA, which already provides that kind of count. Other cities don't, but we're asking them to make a homeless count. It's not specific how they do it. They may emulate the City of Los Angeles in terms of LAWSA's ability to count. Just to be on the record, San Francisco also does a good job of homeless. Not only Santa Monica and Los Angeles. But yes, that's what they would do. They would actually have to do a homeless count and submit that and prove that they do not have homelessness instead of that. They're also allowing people, just so people would be clear on this, they would allow for regionalization. If a city does turn around and say, I don't have any homeless or have a very small portion of homelessness in my city, then they can partner with regional areas in the city and put a regional area together also. So it does allow for that. So if you do not have anybody, then you could submit that and show the state or HCD that you do not have homelessness.
If this passes, what is the time frame of them having to do this count? What if they refuse to do this count? How would you implement it?
Well, again, it requires that they do a count before they submit and show to HCD.
Any plans at all?
Right.
Councilmember, also, as a condition of federal continuum of care funding through the McKinney-Vento Act, jurisdictions that receive entitlements under that grant are required to conduct a homeless count every 2 years. As a federal requirement.
Well, thank you both for that. And colleagues, this is a very interesting moment for all of us. That's why I called it special, not consent, so that we could talk about it and have an appreciation of an issue. We're all in this together. The homeless issue is everybody's issues. It's the federal government's issue, which has been totally irresponsible, this president and this government. The state is now stepping to the plate. The county has already, and the city, stepped to the plate. Since we're all in this together, we all need to take our fair share of social responsibilities when it comes to to homeless. This just puts another element in the mix that makes the NIMBYism of some of the communities throughout the state who say, not in my backyard, no matter what, and they push it to somebody else. It makes them stand up, and they have to focus on it. I urge us all to vote yes on this. Thank you very much, and thank the Senator for his leadership in putting this before us.
Thank you very much, Councilman.
Thank you, Ms. Rosendahl. That item is now before us. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 30 was called special for cards from the public.
Thank you. Miriam Fogler, followed by Sharon Brewer, then followed by Michael Carrion downtown at City Hall.
Yes.
Ms. Fogler.
Yeah, I got to make sure I take these with me. Good afternoon. I wanted to bring up the fact is that we need the money for the city, and the more money that comes into the city, the county, the state, and the federal, the better we're going to live. The government can function well. The public's going to have faith in faith in their leaders. This way we don't have the chaos going on like in Iraq. What I'm trying to say is the money here, the special events fees, some of them can be, it's good for some of the stuff, but not all of it. Like the private companies, like Time Warner, out of one of the ones that was on the other day, $15,000, they could pick up the tab. The private companies. But I'm talking about the city, public for the public services should be remaining, the money should be with the city, okay, the county, the state, and the federal to provide public service to the public. And then that brings more confidence and confidence in the leadership. The people then look to you for guidance, to show us, because God gave us our minds to do the good things in our life. That's what we're here for, okay? We're here to serve God, and we are here to make life on this planet better than when you came in. When you leave this world, make it better, okay? So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's really have these special events audited and see what the money is going. Have them show where the money is being spent, how it's being spent, where it's going. That's what we should be doing. The same thing should be on our budget. Okay? So that's all I have to say right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Brewer, Sharon Brewer.
Hi, Sharon Brewer, Special Event Monitor. On today's event, the special events, there are 19 special event items. There are 15 fee waivers with amounts totaling $41,292. There's one no amount submitted. It's a farmer's market. They can go as high as, I've seen, as $74,000. 3 reimburse the city. I didn't get to talk on Wednesday for the special events. For some reason, they didn't do it. But I wanted to do an update on May 2007. You had 134 special event items. You had 106 waiver amounts, totaling $630,531 plus. You had 7 no-fee amounts submitted and 21 reimbursed the city. That's just 1 month that you are allowing to be waived. And I think that you need to take and start looking at the reason that things are being waived. And I know you had a presentation about the book thing. When I hear that you have Target and WAMU and some of these other sponsors, it would be really nice if they could pick up the tab and maybe look at different venues than City Hall to have the event. Again, fee waivers need to be monitored more closely. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go to downtown. Michael Carrion.
Yes, my name is Michael Carrion, and I'm curious. I agree with the two ladies who spoke before. These fee waivers getting out of hand. To me, it's just a way to give the politicians to pay back the people who sponsored them. I've got three fee waivers in my community that I don't even know about. One, it says a parish. What parish? Probably got about 300 parishes. This does not tell me which parish is having an event. It just tells me a parish is having a special event. Is that going into somebody's pocket because his special event is all for him? I don't understand where these things are coming from. There's no description of them. We got $10,000 for a parish carnival. What, you got a circus or you got a dog and pony show? There's no explanation of where this money's going. Gentleman spoke earlier about his taxes being raised or his fines being raised. Yet you turn around and just give the money away. I had a question on the parish issues. I've come to my council office discussing these things, and they said, we don't do parishes. Conflict of interest between state and church. Now I'm starting to see it all over these billboards, these your pamphlets. Somebody would, even Mr. Smith stated that when we come here, all we want are answers. And I need answers on these, where this money's going. Someone from your districts should be able to explain to us, the public, where our tax-paying dollars are going. When we voted you guys in so that you guys can tell us where our tax-paying dollars are going. During an election year, you're all for that. Once you get in office, we can't even talk to you unless we come to City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the last speaker card on item number 30. Any comments? If not, Madam Clerk.
And Madam President,
yes.
O again would be continued
O would be
to Tuesday.
continued. We have a card for you on item number 40, Ms. Pearman. Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
That item has been approved. Next item.
Item 36, called special by Councilmember Alarcon.
Mr. Alarcon.
Members, this is a resolution calling upon the Department of Public Works to come back with a community use plan for Lopez Canyon landfill. I just wanted to point out to the members that no additional money is being used for this project from the City General Fund. In the course of closure of a landfill, there is a 30-year statutory process that incorporates into it recovery funding. So built into the closure of Lopez Canyon, there is a recovery fund that can be used to bring back this area that has been tremendously damaged by decades of landfilling. And in this case, we're asking for them to come back with a community use plan. We have most notably recently announced that we're working with the Department of Recreations and Parks and Public Works to design a multi-phased park development on the site. There are areas on the outskirts of the inner core of the landfill that are certainly in a position to be turned into a park very soon. One area in particular that may be a park within a year. And then there's the settling area, which used to be the landfill proper, which maybe someday could be used for a driving range or otherwise. But in any case, I thought Mr. Wesson would take interest in that. Yes, I may be pandering just a little bit. But in any case, I just wanted you to know that there are no additional funds being requested for this. It is part of the recovery process, but we are sort of expediting the notion that it could, where we had used a canyon for a landfill, we will now have an opportunity over the course of the next 20 years to build multiple parks on the site and make it an enjoyable feature for the community instead of the burden that it was for the decades that we landfill there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know there was a question that the report will go back to two committees, I think, both the, I think it is the Arts, Parks, and Energy and Environment. So that item being before us, Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
That item's been approved. Next item. Yes, Mr.
Madam President, if I could ask all the IGR items to go forthwith to the mayor. The legislative session ends in about a week, so it's good to get those.
Thank you. We'll have all those go forthwith. Next item.
Item 40 was called special for cards from the public.
Yes, and I think Mr. Cardenas also wanted to call it special. We'll hear from the public first, Mr. Cardenas. Thank you. Miriam Fogler and Donna Pearman.
I pay special attention to Channel 35 and 36. They're very good, informative stations. And when I heard the lady here, Miss Levin, speak last week at City Hall, she said she was suggesting to making like one of the channels C-SPAN, the other one are informative. Well, the problem is I don't want it to become so generalized. I want it to stay focused on the city issues, and not to be generalized. And C-SPAN has a tendency to get that way, and I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be very specific on focusing on the city. All the programs on there is very, very, very well organized, and it gives you a lot of information about different things around the city, everything. And I don't want the federal government to tell us and mandate to us what we need to do. We need to keep this local here. I don't like this. Federal government's coming in here and sticking their own, telling us what we should do things. The more local, the better it is for the people to be more involved. Not so much up there at the top, because it's very, very difficult, because you have to go filter down here to local, and it's very difficult to get things done. So I like to keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pearman?
Sorry about the last thing. I did put on 30, but I probably gave it to a wrong employee. So we'll just let it go on that. I just want to say that everything that Miriam said on number 40 sounds correct. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. That closes public comment. Mr. Cardenas.
Thank you. This resolution, on behalf of myself and Councilmember Rosendahl, is basically to file a challenge in federal court as an intervener seeking to overturn and or modify the Federal Communications Commission's recent decision, which may limit or reduce our city authority in cable matters. If you recall, it was this past year, the state of California and the legislature, they passed a bill that basically shifted the focus and the responsibility and which level of government has authority over the cable franchising and also the franchising of communication into households and businesses throughout any jurisdiction in the state. Yet at the same time, the federal government always reserves the opportunity to override or overturn, so to speak, or intervene above and beyond the state governments and or the local governments. And that's why we need to be an intervener, because the changes that were made last year has certainly weakened our ability to answer to our constituents when it comes to these matters. Yet now we have the federal government seeking to reduce the authority now of the state government of California and across the country, and that's something that, in my opinion, is not going to assist us in any way when it comes to customer service. It's not going to assist us in any way of making sure that these organizations are held accountable and that they are able to respond to their constituents. They've already taken it, by and large, away from the local level, which we had prior to this year, and to take it any further is certainly to allow Washington to make those decisions or to be the intervener is inappropriate. So I hope that we can get passage on this resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you, Madam President. This is amazing right now what's going on. We have been the bottom line dealing with customer service and issues of the cable industry. Look, I was a cable guy for 22 years. I know more about it than most of these characters who think they can talk about it. It was the accountability aspect that was critical to the cable subscriber, the cable customer. When I was a cable exec, I knew darn well that if I didn't perform right, there would be some consequences to this. Well, several things have happened. First, the state, in its wisdom, which I thought was outrageous, decided to preempt us because they wanted the big phone companies in, which I'm all for that. I'm all for competition. I think customers should be able to pick between a satellite or a telephone hookup for their video or a cable for their video. I'm for that. But what they did was take away the teeth of regulating, the teeth of accountability. Now the federal government wants to do the same thing. Look, we know how this political process works. We know about special interests at every level of government. And on the federal level, let me tell you something. Those phone companies and those broadcasters and those cable casters have their hands around the throat of those elected. And they're just about to do us in completely, which basically means there will be no accountability. There will be no way in which we can interact with it. Public access will be destroyed, something I strongly believed in. I had 700 public access producers producing 3,500 shows every year. The electronic platform for the community will go. And I dare say that it is not in the interest of the customers, the consumers, our constituents, that this legislation goes forward. We should show our outrage, but I'm going to tell you something. It's like, what is like a snowball in hell or something like that. Like we have absolutely nothing power back there. So we need to let our delegation know, both the senators and the congressional delegation, that the people come first, accountability comes first, and we should take a very strong position. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Cardenas.
Yeah, I'd like some of the staff to come forward from the information technology staff to come forward and explain to us what is going on with at the federal level, and to give us perhaps an example or two that would affect our constituents.
Yes, I'm Ted Jordan from the City Attorney's Office. Good morning. William Imperial from the Information Technology Agency, the Video Services Regulatory Division. Thank you, Councilman Cardenas. By way of background, what we expect to produce in our intervener lawsuit is to challenge the authority of the FCC, the basic authority of the FCC, to actually issue this order that will, in effect, prohibit or possibly prohibit the City of Los Angeles from using PEG access fees according to the new state law. So we're going to have further limitations on the 1% PEG access fee that we thought we were entitled to if the FCC order is interpreted the way we see it being interpreted by certain parties, especially the cable companies and the telephone companies. I think that if you look at what the FCC order says, it says that at this time they will not be affecting state franchising schemes, but they basically intend to do or act on that later if they feel that state franchising schemes are a barrier to new entrants. And that's been the basis or the foundation for the claim that of the telephone companies in particular that has started this whole new franchising push to take franchising from the state to the FCC. The intervener lawsuit will basically tell the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, where we'll be filing, and eventually probably to the Supreme Court, that only Congress has the ability to deal with with franchising, which is the foundation of the Telecommunications Act.
So what you've just described is an administrative act, correct? It wasn't an act of Congress that we're talking about.
Yes.
So we're challenging an order from the administrative level of that department at the federal level.
Yes, and actually we started this action back in 2005. This council allowed us to file the opposition to the initial notice of proposed rulemaking. So this is just a follow-up to that.
Now, wasn't the dialogue a year ago, if you roll the clock back, that the federal government was basically saying, if you locally don't make some changes based on what the industry complaints are, and then we had state legislation that was actually passed subsequent to that dialogue, and this seems to be violating that expectation that if we, not we, the local government, but if each state went ahead and made changes proper and restructured their efforts on franchising, et cetera, that FERC wouldn't be taking action, for example, that would affect the state of California.
Yes, you're correct.
So we were encouraged, we were cajoled, we were threatened, or what have you, as a state, to go ahead and pass some kind of legislation, and then once that has passed, whether we like it or not, now that FERC seems to be following through with their threat to say, well, then we're going to handle it.
You're correct. In fact, Congress had considered last year amendments to the telecom bill that is the basis for all franchising bills throughout the United States, and they did not act in regard to this area of the law, but the FCC now has.
Okay. So bottom line is what we're talking about. I'm sorry, it's not for FCC. FCC is acting administratively. We are an intervener in a court case to challenge them. And how long will it take for us to hopefully get down to the bottom of that through the judicial process?
We're not certain about that because there are so many parties that have intervened. There were actually 5 or 6 separate lawsuits that were filed in 5 or 6 separate Circuit Court of Appeals throughout the United States, and they were just recently joined in the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals. So it's very difficult for us to give you a timeline on that. If you look at litigation, this could actually go to the 6th Circuit, a decision could be made, and if the FCC doesn't challenge the order and no one else does, it could go back to the FCC and could start over again, or it could go on up to the Supreme Court. More likely than not, it'll probably go to the Supreme Court because I don't think anyone is on both sides of the fence is going to be real happy with the outcome either way.
And in the meantime, what happens to their order?
Well, unless the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals issues a stay on the order, it would probably be given effect, but I'll let the city attorney's office answer that as well.
So if it's put in effect, what happens to this potential fee?
Well, if and only if the telephone companies that are state franchise holders and the incumbent cable operators who will then become state franchise holders in 2008 if they decide to obtain a state franchise, if they don't challenge the use of the city's PEG access fee, then it'll be moot. In other words, if we take the money and use it according to AB 2987, our state law, we can actually continue to use that money in the way we see fit, according to the law, which is using that money to build our facilities and to provide for equipment. The FCC's holding is limited to only facilities, which we would say is brick and mortar, no equipment. So potentially we need the equipment actually to, in this instance, in regard to Channel 35, we need that money to upgrade to a digital platform. We were looking at a possible potential cost of $10 million we couldn't use if the FCC order applies, and the telephone companies and the cable operators turn around and say, you can't use that money for that purpose.
Is the state of California joining us in this challenge?
I believe that the local... In California, there is a push, and everybody is doing different things. There's amicus curiae briefs that are being prepared right now. I believe the California League of Cities is opposing it, and the League of Cities throughout the United States is opposing it as well.
Opposing the order?
Opposing the order, yes.
So they're in line with us?
Yes,
basically.
correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mr. Rosendahl.
I showed a little anger, obviously, before, but just to point out the FCC's role in all of this. You know, we the people own the airwaves, but we don't. The special interests own the airwaves. In the 80s, the FCC said, oh, local television, you don't have to do any public service programming anymore. You don't have to give back to the community. So now we have schlock on television. We don't even know the issues. We don't understand what's going on around elections. We don't have a democracy where empowering people with information is key to the democratic process. Thank you, FCC, in the 80s, to turn everything, including news, into eyeballs and profits and advertising rather than the substance of giving back to community something because we, the people, own the airwaves. This is a further emasculation of our ability to say anything about the airwaves, be it now the phone company, a 900-pound gorilla coming into the business, the cable industry and all of its shenanigans and games, or the satellite people. We, the people, are the big losers in all this. And I just want to thank Tony Cardenas for your leadership on this, seeing it for what it is, making it an issue and putting it in the sunshine. But I got to tell you, folks, we're going to lose on this. The politics back in Washington, as corrupt as it is historically on so many issues, shows its true teeth when it lets the FCC do this kind of stuff. Our senators, our congressional delegation should be standing behind the people and say, we own the airwaves, this is not right. So thank you, Tony, for what you're doing.
Thank you very much. That item is now before us. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Thank you. Next item.
And Madam President, just for the Council's information, the IGR matters that Councilmember Smith requested go forth with were items 14, 15, 19, 38, and 40.
Thank you. Is that the end of our items for today?
Council has motions for posting or referral.
Those will be posted and referred, and I know the city attorney, before you move on, is giving me the eye. Many of you, we had, yes, giving me the eye. We had... I'm so sorry, Dion. We did announce earlier, prior to a quorum, that we did go through the public comment period. I want to again acknowledge those individuals who did speak earlier, and we gave them the option of speaking then or speaking once we had a quorum. Susan Rocha, Rick Nightingale, Miriam Fogler, Donna Pearman, Candido Merez, Sharon Brewer, Daniel Geis, and Daniel Weissman. And I'm sorry, and Michael Carrion, who came from downtown. So we did have those items posted and referred. Mr. Clerk, next item.
There are excuses on the desk. Councilmember Parks requests to be excused for the meetings of July 10th, 11th, 13th, 17th, 18th, 20th, 24th, and 25th, and the 27th, all for personal business. A motion is required.
That does not take a motion. Okay.
Yeah, actually, a motion is required.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion is required. Mr. Zine moves and Mr. Alarcon seconds for Mr. Parks to go on vacation, it sounds like.
Councilmember Smith requests to be excused November 21st and 22nd for personal business. That meets council policy.
He will be excused.
And Councilmember Weiss requests to be excused to leave at noon on June 22nd and for the entire meetings of July 13th, 17th, 18th, and 20th, all for personal business. A motion is also required.
Mr. Smith moves, Mr. Rosendahl seconds.
And that does clear the desk, Madam President.
Thank you. Announcements. Mr. Alarcon, followed by Mr. Parks.
Members, with all the consternation we've had about the Children's Museum since my arrival, let me announce that we are going to be having a press conference next Monday, June 4th at 10 a.m. To announce how well they're doing on their fundraising and relative to the challenge loan that we provided them. I do want to correct something for the record that I should have mentioned to you. It might have made the debate a little bit softer. What I failed to remember at the time, but I know now, is that the Lopez Canyon Amenities Fund actually purchased the land where the Children's Museum is. And so for those who thought that the local community had not contributed, I want you to know that the local community gave $600,000, which the Children's Museum is using in the form of a $1 a year lease, in 1997 or 8 money. So today the value of that would be well over $1 million. And so the neighborhood did contribute to this. But I wanted to invite you to this particular press conference, not so much to talk about the money, but to tour the Children's Museum. It's about 80% done. And so I want to welcome all of you to Lakeview Terrace and Hanson Dam. If you need directions, please call my office. I also want to welcome the public to come see the construction of the Children's Museum. As I said, it's about 80% done. We're very confident that they will raise the money, but they still need more to go before they get the full complement of the matching grant. So we would encourage those of you who have the ability to give to contribute to something that will be a very unique site in the country, right here in Los Angeles, in Lakeview Terrace at the Children's Museum.
Thank you, Madam President. I have two announcements. On Sunday, June the 3rd, starting at 11 a.m., the program starts at 1. There'll be the Black Music a Month celebration at the African American Museum in Exposition Park. And also on June the 9th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Beverly Hills Hilton Hotel on 9800 block of Wilshire, the West Angeles Church CDC, along with the Hollywood Black Film Festival, will be holding a workshop on business procurement opportunities in the entertainment industry, and that they will include panelists from Fox, ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Mr. Rosendahl.
Yes, Madam President. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at the Veterans Property in West L.A., we're going to be meeting with Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans and talk about services for veterans at that property. One of the great outcries I have right now, folks, is that we're not doing enough for the returnees coming back from our present war, and that VA property in West LA is designed for that purpose. I will be there. We will be with Iraqi and Afghan vets, and we will be talking about health services that are so critically needed for our veterans after we put them in harm's way. Thank you, Madam.
Yes, Mr. Cardenas.
Yeah, as earlier in our presentations, we mentioned the book fair that's going to occur on the South City Hall steps on 1st and Main Street in downtown. It's for free. It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. As you can see in this picture, everyone is welcome, all of Los Angeles and beyond. We have some wonderful guests, and there's going to be books in every language and from all over the world going to be there, and it's going to be a great opportunity for families and children to enjoy themselves and to learn more about literacy and also hopefully to get some more books for their children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cardenas. Mr. Rosendahl, you had one more?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Zine's very anxious over here.
Let Mr.
so-
Zine go first, please.
Mr. Zine.
Then I'll go.
Thank you. I want to acknowledge Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. They're going to have Association of LA Deputy Sheriffs, their 7th annual banquet this evening, recognizing Medal of Valor with the LA County Sheriff's Department. So I want to congratulate them on that. Also on Sunday, the Jewish Federation Walk for Defer is going to take place at the Jewish Community Center at 22622 Van Owen Street, and that is in the West San Fernando Valley, 11 a.m. Also, the LA Pierce Symphony Winds concert is going to take place at 2:30 on Sunday at 6201 Winnetka. And there was one more item that we had. Oh, the concerts in the park. The concerts in the park are starting in Warner Center Park this coming Sunday, and they'll run through the summer season every Sunday. So this Sunday, concerts in the park, 5 p.m. at Warner Center Park on Topanga, south of Oxnard. And don't forget the 4th of July fireworks extravaganza. I know a number of the fireworks displays are going to be curtailed this 4th of July, but we're going to continue on with the one at Warner Center Park, and about 45,000 people show up there. So make your plans now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm hosting a town hall next Tuesday at 7 p.m. At the Westchester Senior Center, which is in the complex at the corner of Manchester and Lincoln. It is about LAX and some alleged expansion / moving runway plans that the community is very upset about. Janice Hahn is going to show up as well as Bernard Parks, and we're inviting the Westchester Playa del Rey community and all those who care about modernization of LAX but not expansion, all those who care about their community and not want to see a runway move 340 feet north, which is outrageous. Please come on Tuesday at 7 o'clock at the Westchester Senior Center. We're going to have Lawa give us a full presentation. We have a panel of people responding to it, and we want to hear from the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, Ms. Hahn.
Thank you. We're going to be having down at Cabrillo Beach in the harbor area the Cabrillo Beach Sports Day tomorrow, Saturday, June 2nd, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this is one of those great events where we're bringing kids from all over the city to participate and learn for a day some water sports. So we're actually going to take a day and teach kids how to kayak, windsurf, scuba diving, just a lot of water sports a lot of kids maybe have never been introduced to. So it's a great day down at Cabrillo. It's put on by our own Department of Parks and Recreation in collaboration with our Cabrillo Beach Bathhouse Association. So it should be a great day for a lot of kids in the city who don't always get a chance to learn water sports.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. I'd like to add Colfax Elementary School has their big fair tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, and encourage all to go to support our wonderful PTA that puts on this event to support the school there. Do we have adjourning motions today? We do. Thank you. If we could ask everyone to please rise. Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you, Madam President. Priscilla Reckless Siegel, who was the mother of Nan Snyder, who is a major community activist in Westchester, passed away just this week. She was born in St. Paul, Minnesota on September 10th, 1922. Her husband, Dr. Sheldon Siegel, and their 3 children, Linda and Nancy, who I just mentioned, and her grandchildren, Mark, and David, and Beth, and Aaron, are the survivors. Priscilla enjoyed a close-knit family and her many friends from Ladera Heights. She was an elegant lady with a sense of humor that just wouldn't quit. Her daughter Nan remembers how excited she was when her grandchildren were born, saying, "I'll never forget when we were bringing Beth home from the hospital, how she ran in front of us, still moving car, to get her hands on that baby." She truly loved her grandchildren, her children, and everybody in the family. One of the very last things she did before she died was to brush her granddaughter Beth's hair. Deeply loved and cherished by her family and friends, Priscilla was easygoing, even-tempered, and quick with sage advice, boiled down to pithy one-liners. She wanted people to enjoy life, to be lighthearted, responsible, and happy. She also had an amazing memory for people, their names, and even their phone numbers. She and her husband were co-founders of the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. Services were held this week, but in lieu of flowers, her family would request contributions made to the Los Angeles chapter of the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. May she rest in peace.
Thank you. Any other adjourning motions? If not, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
You're watching LA City View, Channel 35.
We now join our scheduled program in progress.
He tells us their generosity was ripe for the picking.
This was Citrus Sunday, a day when people opened their yards to volunteers who picked thousands of pounds of fresh citrus fruit to give to local food banks in the San Fernando Valley. Citrus Sunday is a partnership between the Valley Interfaith Council and the office of 12th District Council member Greg Smith.
Every day in the San Fernando Valley, there's 130,000 people who have to make a tough choice whether they eat a full meal or they pay the rent or they pay for their water and power bills. And so what they normally do is they'll eat a peanut butter sandwich or something like that and give up fruit and the things that really are important to a good balanced meal.
These volunteers are helping to make sure people don't have to make that choice between eating fresh fruit and paying the bills.
It's great that so many people come out for the community to help support the Councilman's office in such a great cause, to help the homeless and feed the needy.
I think it's a great project. We've got all this fruit and it should be used.
So we'll fill this one up a couple times today, taking over. We're going to probably fill this up here and take it over to the food bank and come back and take another load or two.
Councilmember Smith is proud of Citrus Sunday and what it says about the volunteer spirit of his district and the entire San Fernando Valley.
We have groups working today in Studio City, North Hollywood, East Valley, Pacoima area, so it's kind of caught on and spread throughout the valley and getting real big, and it's only our second year.
By the end of the day, Citrus Sunday volunteers had rounded up around 50,000 pounds of fresh fruit for the less fortunate. I'm Patrick Rohde for LA This Week.
And that figure of 50,000 pounds is almost double last year's numbers when volunteers collected 26,000 pounds of fruit. Why go to the theaters to watch Spider-Man 3 when you can go to the LA Zoo and see spiders up close and personal? Rasha Goel takes us through this new exhibit.
It's a city Spider-Man adores, and now visitors can too. Spider City is the latest attraction at the LA Zoo, featuring over 25 species of spiders from around the world.
We have big hopes that by exposing our visitors at the zoo, these eight-legged creatures, they'll learn about them, they'll appreciate them more, and understand the important role they play in the web of life.
The interactive walkthrough exhibition gives visitors an opportunity to view spiders at a closer look and even conquer their fear.
So what spiders do is they use the venom inside their fangs and they inject their bug with their venom and it starts to break down the insides.
When you learn what they're really about, hopefully people won't think they're as scary as they did before.
The largest spider at the exhibition is the Goliath bird eater spider, a spider as big as the palm of our hands. But being large may not be the thing to be scared of. It's the poisonous ones to watch for.
The only really dangerous ones we have in this area are the black widow, which is a very shy spider, and a little violin spider which we have out in our local deserts, which in some cases a bite can cause kind of an ulcerating sore. But those are really the only two dangerous spiders that we have here.
It's just straight out of the comics. It's so exciting.
For LA This Week, I'm Rasha Goel.
Definitely make some time to check out the zoo and the new spider exhibit. For some other things to do, here is the city guy, Andrew Tarr.
Hi, I'm Andrew Tarr, the city guy, with this week's list of things to do. Can you say halau o keiki? No, that's not quite right. Try it again. I'm sorry, your pronunciation's way off. It's pronounced halau o keiki. But that's okay, because you know what it means, right? No? Oh, well, then I guess I should tell you. Halau o Kekiali'i is Hawaiian for Hawaiian music and dance, and you can see and hear it for yourself at World City, a performance series at the Walt Disney Concert Hall, Saturday, June 2nd at 11:30 a.m. The performance is followed by a workshop where you and your family can learn some Halau o Kekiali'i directly from the masters of this ancient art form. And best of all, by the end of the day, you'll be able to say Halau o Kekiali'i. For more information, go to musiccenter.org. Are you sick of eating the same old stuff all the time? Me neither, but it is always nice to try a new kind of cuisine. If you'd like to try something new in the delicious food department, there's an El Salvador Community Food Fair you don't want to miss, where you'll enjoy food from El Salvador, especially the most popular, a tortilla called a pupusa, which is stuffed with cheese, refried beans, and other meat, and then grilled and served with a spicy pickled cabbage and hot sauce. They'll also be making the world's biggest pupusa there, but if you eat that one, you will explode, which can be dangerous. But that's okay, because there'll be plenty of regular-sized pupusas, as well as carnival games, free rides, live music, and free health screenings for the entire family. The annual Pupusa Festival takes place Sunday, June 3rd from 10 to 8. Admission is free. In the early days of Hollywood, before the talkies, there were silent movies. Celebrate the genius of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton at a silent film gala with the Los Angeles Chamber Orchestra, Saturday the 2nd at UCLA's Royce Hall. Who can forget when Buster Keaton said... And of course, Chaplin's hysterical line has had audiences in stitches for almost a century. For details, go to laco.org. And as part of Theatricum Botanicum's Family Fun Days, Creative Playground performs an adaptation of Ferdinand the Bull, the story of a young bull in Spain who doesn't like to fight. This beautiful tale of love triumphing over violence takes place at the famous Will Geer Theatricum Botanicum in the woods of Topanga. Go to creativeplayground.org or theatricum.com to find out more. I'm Andrew Tarr, the city guy, and I'll be back next week with even more things to do.
Aspiring young hip-hop artists got a chance to grab the mic and freestyle in front of an audience with close ties to the movie industry. No promises here, but there was plenty of fun. Gil Reyes shows us what's new with the city's Music LA program.
Back with another of those block rockin' beats is the Department of Cultural Affairs and its Music LA program. Music LA celebrated with 2 turntables and a microphone.
Mix the old with the new and show them the transition between how cultural traditions influence modern music.
The program is in its 3rd year supporting arts and culture with high school students in our dynamically diverse city, but needs grants to keep it going. The Walt Disney Company is a major donor.
This is your investment in your future.
When you participate in programs like that, I want you to believe in yourself because the talent is certainly there.
Don't give up. Believe in what you're doing. Keep honest to your dreams and keep working hard because you never know where you might end up.
We need to stop building bombs and create more turntables, more drums to put into the schools straight up.
For more information on upcoming cultural events, log on to culturela.org. At Sylmar High School, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The teens spent 8 to 10 weeks with an instructor to learn their beats and instruments. Tia Chucha Centro Cultural, a nonprofit cultural learning center, co-sponsored the program. There's one show here in the city that boasts no singing or dancing, but plenty of blushing beauties. It's the annual Blooming of the Roses at Exposition Park. Anna Marco stops to smell the roses.
Springtime at the Exposition Park Rose Garden brings a garden of earthly delights for visitors as 15,000 roses go into full bloom.
I like the hot colors. I like the oranges and the red oranges, things like that. I really like a rose with a good punchy color.
Councilmember Jan Perry and other community leaders each gave a glowing rose tribute at the 7th annual Blooming of the Roses luncheon.
I don't think you could find a better rose garden than this rose garden. I think it really stands out.
It's 80 years ago that we actually started digging the ground to get this ready and then opened it the following spring. And I will tell you that every single day there are people enjoying the rose garden.
Please take time to come back and smell the roses and do it regularly.
Some offered a little historical perspective on the rose garden down through history.
It was not intended that someone of any color was to be standing in this rose garden. It was not built for many who live in the neighborhood and for many who care for it right now.
All that blooming inspires a little artistic expression. Danny Rodriguez took the top prize for the annual Blooming of the Roses art contest. And yes, this artist has her favorite rose colors.
I think it's the red and yellow one. It's colorful and I like it very much.
The Rose Garden has often been used as a backdrop for weddings, movies, and TV commercials. But it's also an ideal site for just sitting back and taking it all in. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The Rose Garden boasts 145 varieties of roses, and a visit to the Rose Garden is free. And that's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
The Department of Public Works maintains and operates many facets of the city of Los Angeles on all levels, from below it, on it, and above it. Below, the city has 6,500 miles of sewers and 1,200 miles of storm drains that connect to the largest waste treatment facilities in the country. On it, 7,300 miles of streets and alleys with about 200,000 potholes fixed and over 100 miles of streets resurfaced annually. From above, an urban forest of 680,000 street trees trimmed for beauty and healthy, clean air, as well as maintaining the 230,000 street lights that light our 24-hour city. The Department of Public Works helped design and build 32 new libraries since 1998, 76 recreation and park projects, and a national award-winning wastewater treatment plant. The Department of Public Works, striving to make the city of Los Angeles a home that future generations will cherish.
You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Your city, your channel.
You're watching Neighborhood Council's calendar of events. Brought to you by LA City View Channel 35 and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. Airing Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., 12:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m., and 11 p.m. Neighborhood Council's calendar of events provides the latest information about meetings and events sponsored by all neighborhood councils throughout Los Angeles. Information listed on this service may be subject to change without prior notice, so please call the contact phone number listed for the meeting to confirm the event. This listing covers an advanced 2-week period. If you need additional information or require a meeting schedule for dates not listed on this segment, please log on to the city's website at www.lacity.org and click on City Events Calendar. If you need more information about how you can get involved with your community's neighborhood council, please call the Department of Neighborhood Councils toll-free at 866-LA-HELPS. That's 866-524-3577. If you need more information about how you can get involved with your community's neighborhood council, please call the Department of Neighborhood Councils toll-free at 866-LA-HELPS. That's 866-524-3577. You're watching Neighborhood Council's calendar of events. Brought to you by LA City View Channel 35 and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. Airing Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., 12:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m., and 11 p.m. Neighborhood Council's calendar of events provides the latest information about meetings and events sponsored by all neighborhood councils throughout Los Angeles. Information listed on this service may be subject to change without prior notice, so please call the